want to welcome everybody to the July 14th special call meeting at 2 o'clock and get an approval agenda.
So moved, Chairman.
Second.
Second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right, if I can, I'll open the meeting up with an invocation prayer. Let us pray. Dear Lord, thank you so much. You know what each and every one of our needs are. We ask that you be with this county, the state, and this country in this time of the uncertainty. But we do ask that you be with each and every one of us in our law enforcement and the safety of this community. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's just.
Okay. Yes, sir.
All right. Let me give you a little snapshot of the fiscal year that's been going on in the tax assessor's office. The last 8 months, we had 2 individuals retire. One was sort of expected, one was out of the blue. These 2 individuals had over 30 years of experience. So I had to devise a plan and pivot and get other staff members up to speed to take on responsibilities and be promoted so that we can continue being efficient and effective in the office. Well, we did that. I had to send 2 individuals to classes for certain skill sets during that time. I also had a new assessor I had to send to training during that time also. Now, as you know, the market has exploded the last 2 years. The market is going up 20% the last 2 years. And we have some exceptional news for you. We are mandated to stay up with 100% of market value by the Department of Revenue, and because of that increase, we had to change assessments, okay? So that we don't fall below 36% by the Department of Revenue. We're mandated to stay between 36 and 44%. So because of the increase in market, we had to change some values here in the county. Now, we've changed 9,000, we have about 15,300 real property parcels, and about another 800 personal property parcels. Well, because of the enormous sales that we had, the values from those sales, we made 9,000 changes. There they are, black and white. 9,000. Okay? And our notices went out May 15th. The appeal deadline was June 29th. Okay? We made 9,000 changes. We had 72 real property appeals. That's 0.0008%. Now, I can tell you this, there's no county in the state of Georgia who has made that many changes, who had that type of ratio of changes to appeals. So that tells you that we're doing it the correct way. We're not overvaluing taxpayers, but we're doing what we're supposed to do in the county. I always give you this as an updated amount.
Thank you.
Those 9,000 changes resulted in an increase, of course, in the digest from last year. Okay? The digest last year was it's the 40% number, not the 100% number. It's 885,077,328. comes directly off the final digest of last year. Well, the preliminary digest that was run July 6th shows a valuation of $939,290,429. All right? That is an increase of $54,213,101. Now, that equates to more than what I'm about to tell you that you can expect. You can expect $1,650,000 in New County revenue. That's what you can expect. That's a conservative number because I didn't give you the total number because we still have appeals to be resolved. But county has never seen $1,650,000 from probably any department of the county ever. So I'm happy to tell you that, and that's based on these 9,000 changes that we made and that we made properly. Okay? So that's a win for the county so that you all can do what you need to do for the citizens of Jones County. Now, let's get to the conference. We stay, the conferences in Jekyll Island, we go every year, same time every year. We stay at the same hotel every year. That's why we use the same hotel. So when I booked it way back in November of 2022, just to hold it so that we could get into this certain hotel, which is approximately to the convention center. I did that. My intentions was to come back and rebook it in the booking block that the conference usually holds for that conference. Okay? But with everything that was going on, it slipped my mind to get it done. So once I submitted it, and I was told by the CFO, hey, the daily rate is over. I said, you're right. That's not the right number. So immediately the next day, called the hotel, got them to reduce that daily rate to half, and put us in the block of that conference. And I gave that change to the CFO. So, that's what we did. This was an unusual year for us financially. We had things that broke down. We have archaic and machinery, copiers that needed to be replaced. No, we tried to fix them, but we were told that they couldn't be fixed because of parts. And the best thing was to do to lease a new one. We had at least 2 copies. We also had to take care of some vehicle maintenance that needed to be done on one of our vehicles. So it was an unusual year. I still have a new assessor that has to go to training. They're mandated to go to training within 180 days by the Department of Revenue. They have to go in September. So that's where we're at as far as the finances are concerned.
Mr. Rizvi, you want to kind of give us the sort of update, you and Levita, both,
Right.
about where we're at?
So the issue from a financial standpoint is that, looking at everything in the tax assessor's budget, if you take everything, quote unquote, extra that's there from now to the end of the fiscal year, there's still not enough to cover the the costs associated with the conference.
So I'm just, before you get too far, what's their budget?
The total, total budget was $460,615.
Okay, well, what was their training budget? I think that's the line item we're talking about, isn't it?
Right. The travel expense budget was $10,000, and then the education and training was $43.95.
Those two numbers have always been that number. Never changed 5, 6 years.
And I'm going to send this around. There are 3 pages here. Just it's got the tax assessor's budget included in that. So if you look over on the second page, about 3/4 of the way down, you'll see travel expense, and then 2 lines below that is the education and training. So one of those is currently over budget by $1204. The other has $2525 remaining.
Any Commissioner, any questions or want to chime in?
I'm just looking at the numbers at the moment.
All right. Y'all ready, let me know. So actually, it's only, looks like 2,500 in travel. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And we're how much short?
What's the total cost included at the lower rate?
Rooms?
Rooms, 6,200, 6,208, and then the conference cost, registrations, it was $2,500 or something.
That's
$400
Per, okay.
And how many are they taking? It was 5. It was,
For assessors.
some of them.
So you got the 6,208, and then the 2,000, and then plus the per diem cost.
Yeah, that was yesterday. Yeah, you might be available on the phone today, on that for discussion purposes.
And it looks like we only have about, so 14,395, and they've spent 13,073. Is that right? So about $1,400 left.
Which one are you looking at now?
I'm just adding travel and training. Total budget was 14,395, 10,000 plus 43.95.
Right,
And then expended to date is 13,073.
that's right.
So that leaves us about $1,320 left.
Yes, that's correct.
And we need 1320, and we need 8208 plus.
Probably on per diem, if you figured
I got the numbers.
400 per,
But
It's,
the mileage is 65.
I got a total.
How many days is the conference?
Sunday to Thursday.
It's 16 days.
about 2437 reimbursable expenses.
Does that include mileage? Was that, okay. So we got, so 10,6,450. I mean, 10,6,450 total. 10,6,450. 10,645. So we're gonna need about 13,3, looks like. If my math's not too far off.
You want my glasses? You
No,
won't have to
sir, I
squint.
don't. I don't need glasses. I can see just
You want me
fine.
to hold your phone over here for you?
I was getting ready to have John, you borrow John, they might see with it.
Yeah, y'all get on your own phone over and do your math. I mean, yeah, I got 93.45 is what we would need to cover.
The two is already been paid back in the May. So I don't know if you want the 400 times 5, the registration fee to be in there, because that was already taken out.
Oh, okay.
That's already taken out.
Okay, then 73.45. Gotcha. And is there any more training between now and the end of the fiscal year that,
No.
nothing that would come up?
I moved the other assessor to September. They were supposed to go first of August, but there was another class locally, and I didn't have to pay for a hotel for this assessor, so I moved them to September to go to class in September.
I guess one of my only concern, Chairman and Tony, is that if we book the rooms in November at a higher rate, even though, so based on what we're seeing now on budgets, we wouldn't have had enough in November, even if it was a lower rate then, to cover it. We'd have needed to move some money around at that time.
Never had enough money in travel and training to cover,
So every year we've moved money.
I suppose. I didn't do the financials, but this has never occurred before. So
But,
I can't
all right.
tell you,
Well, with that thought, you said we go every year, the same hotel,
Yes.
same travel.
yes,
And you do your budget every year,
yes,
and you get your budget every month.
yes.
So you would know in November, or December, or January, or February, March, April, May. See where I'm going? We would have seen sometime between,
I would've-
before
I
July.
know that for the last 4 years.
You didn't know it?
I did know it, but here's the kicker. When I would see that we needed certain things and put it in the budget, it was never changed. I would always get what I got last year. I would always get the same amount I got last year. I wouldn't get anything different.
I guess I'm a little confused, because that means that, to me, it would mean these budgets don't matter. Because if you run out of money, we're going to move money around, transfer, get what we need to get. I guess for me, the concern is, as a department, I run a department, $36 million a year, training for 27 people. So I know when I book a hotel, either me or my administrative assistant books the hotel, I know whether I got enough money to do it or not. And I guess the concern is that we booked it in November, it's sometime between that, and it's not that we need to transfer money or whether any of that. I'm not, I don't have an issue with transferring money to get you the training you need. That's no doubt. My issue is having to have a called meeting the Friday before the event happens. How did we get here to have, because I don't know that, didn't you say that the event had been canceled, or the bookings had been canceled? Are the hotel rooms still booked?
They were canceled last
Go-
Friday, but it's here,
we had until the 13th to cancel, or the county's credit card would have been charged for over $500 per night for each of the individuals that were gone. So that would have been, we would have never got that money back. Approximately $600 for each individual if it had not been canceled by the 13th. And that's what it stated in the documentation that I received.
So I guess the timing of it is finding out right before the event happens that has put us in this kind of this quandary of not having the money, having to transfer the money. And from what I understand, if there's not enough money in your line items, anytime we go outside of your line item, that's what requires us to get involved to have the board approve a budget amendment from whether it's general fund or another transfer or another line item or whatever. So I understand that finance, CFO, even you can request to transfer items within the budget line item. Levita, Jason, or anybody else can't transfer from one budget line to another outside of tax assessor's budget without approval from the board. And that's, I mean, we have those processes in place for a reason. That's my only concern, is that we should, I won't say should have known. It was, and when we booked them in November, and I understand you said, you know, a lot of stuff going on, those things happen, but so we are where we are with not having the money funded to get to the conference, and no way to do it within your line items without board approval to transfer it from another line item. That's a fair statement. And I got to say this, it really bothers me that the information we got originally was that Levita and Jason seem to have done something to cause this issue. And that bothers me, that Levita and Jason didn't do anything other than what our policy requires.
Right.
And other than what their job duties are. And that is to function within the parameters of the budget that was approved. So even if Levita or Jason or anybody had moved money around in the past within a line item budget, within the tax assessor's budget, that's fine. But to move something outside of that budget, they can't do. Had this come before us sooner, we would have been able to make changes before the Friday before the event. And I think that it's coming to light now is unfortunate that it's gotten this far, but if it's a slip, it's a slip. If we didn't make mistakes, we wouldn't be human. But I just want to be real clear that the information we got, that we needed a board meeting, special call board meeting, was because administratively moved the end pieces, moved the goalpost, did something that caused this to be a problem. And I want to make sure that it's known that that's not the case, that it's not Levita and Jason that caused this to be an issue.
Let's just be clear, I didn't say
Well,
that. That's not something that I've said.
Right. And that's why, and I don't know where it came from, so that was just the message that we got when we were told we needed to have a board meeting to clear it up, because Levita and Jason denied you your travel and canceled all your plans, and they should be ashamed of themselves. And I'm just putting my quotes on it. That was what I got from it, that they done something they shouldn't have done. And so that's why we started looking into it and got to this board meeting. And I want to be real clear that that's not the case. The case is we, as in the Jones County Commission departments, have somehow gotten to a point where we've got an event happening on Monday and it's Friday and we don't have the funding to go there. But I don't think there's anybody on this board that doesn't agree, based on the budget we approved last year, that we support, encourage, and hope that you guys do the training that you need to give us the best product possible, and go to it every year, because that's what, I mean, yes, we expect that. That's how we get the first things you talked about, were the other expectations was the property value is going up, and it caused us to get more money in. All those are great things. just like the training. I personally hope that you guys are gonna keep doing the training every year. I just, it's concerned that we got here under one pretense, but now when we get all the information, we need to do the same solution, and that is figure out how to get you guys the training budget that you need, but it's not allowable within the budget confines there. So,
Commissioner Wood?
Right. I was a little surprised by the text that, started the whole conversation. Now we sit here, and, I don't know if we'd had a meeting first part of the month, we'd, done an alternate day than the holiday, it would have cleared it up.
We really hear you.
Okay. I don't know if we'd had a meeting first part of July, if it would have cleared, had time then, and I don't know about Levita's time constraints, or how do we fix this, is basically where I'm going to with the conversation, because it's late in the game. We're down to the wire of, I don't know if you get reservations at this point for the weekend or not, for the next week, but I'm about solving the problem, and how do we solve it at this point in the game, so these Board of Assessors and Chief Appraiser can get to the training they need, because that's the last thing I want to hear from a taxpayer is, these people are not trained enough, why have my taxes gone up? That's the argument I get sometimes from individuals that call, and I want to head it off and say, yes, they are trained, and they haven't missed any training. So how do we solve this? How do we get them training, if possible? How do we solve this?
Ms. Fallon?
I too am like Commissioner Kitchens. I have a budget. I have to plan my training and my travels for 6 of us that go every year, and we go to Jekyll also. I know that the reservations were made at the Wesson. I know that my superintendent can go and stay at the Wesson, and that's fine. He's got a job title above me. I don't book myself for the Wesson. I try to find the lowest accommodations that I can find that are in walking distance, which is the Home2 Suites. And they give a very good rate when you are with a conference that's down there. While everyone's been talking, I've been going through reservations at Jekyll Island. At this point in time, there's no rooms at the Wesson. There's no rooms at the the Home2 Suites. There's no rooms at the Ocean Inn Resort, which are all walking distance. Days Inn is up under complete renovation, so you're not getting there either. So you got Hampton Inn's got 3 rooms, and Courtyard at Jekyll has 3 rooms. That's what's available right now. Okay? When I make my travel reservations, I know where my money is in my budget. I know where my money is in my budget. If I need to move some money that's over here up under some elective that I've got $5,000 in, then I make that process of going to my CFO and saying, hey, I need to move this money from here to this travel account so that I can pay for everything for everybody to go to training. I know that well in advance. You see your budget every day, correct? Every month you see your budget. You know what's being spent and where your money's laying at. So since November to now, you had not noticed that your traveling was not there?
You may have missed the point that that number has always been that number.
Okay.
And
Didn't miss that point. I heard that.
it's always been that number, even though I may have put in for other numbers. It's always reverted back to that number.
Okay.
Now, it's never been an issue until now. And it's probably an issue because we had expenses in the department and other places this year, unexpectedly, that had to be taken care of.
So you didn't know that you had already sent travel expenses out on everybody but one district for travel and expenses, and you didn't know that you had already spent out money in everything but another one district on education and
You on
training?
page 3, when,
Huh?
are you on page 6?
Yeah.
or-
On page 3.
you'd
Is
be
that
on-
right?
No, you'd be
Oh,
on page
sorry.
6.
Yeah, under taxes.
Sorry,
You're probably
sorry.
looking under commission.
You can't blame us for spending our money now, we spend our own.
I was wondering, I was going, okay, hold on, let me look. Page 6.
Mhm.
All right. So yeah, even in there, travel expenses. You've already used $7,000 in travel and expenses. So I just got a question. If you've already spent 7,000, where was you figuring in that you were gonna spend this money?
As I told you before. That number has been the same the last 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to training, and the board is going to 2 conferences a year, and other staff is done training. And it's never been an issue.
So you've retained it within that budget?
All I can say is that this is the first time I was told that there wasn't enough money for something. That's all I can tell you.
I'm assuming, and Levita, Jason, man, I'm assuming that in the past, other accounts had money that could be moved into for training. But I'll go back and say, as a department head, if you added up and it came to 7,000 and you added all the retained balances at the end of the column here, and it didn't come to 7,000, I would have known I didn't have the money to put it in there. And so I think that's where we are, is we didn't, it was probably enough money in the past to move into one line item and make it happen. And based on other outside forces in the other line items, we didn't have enough to cover it this year. That puts us where we are now, where legally, Jason and Levita cannot do anything outside of that without board approval. And so their hands were tied based on policy, and then ours, meaning ours and yours, hands are tied based on time, because when we found it out. So it's, that's how we got where we are. I don't have a problem with approving the money outside of the department to be budgeted in there if it's necessary. My concern now is that we don't have time to get you guys booked and hotel rooms, this late in the game. I know with board officers, we have continual education. We also have core certification and stuff like that for boards. I think most of us have the core certification, so we're working on CEs and stuff like that. Is this conference, I guess the best way to ask, is it a requirement that you gotta have for this fiscal year? And the second part is there anything else to get them? If it was CEs, is there another conference in September we can go to get that CE? Is it really gonna hurt if you as training certified, if we have to move this conference between now to September, October, November, or next month when we?
They use the conferences for training credits with the Georgia Department of Revenue. They're required to have 40 hours. Each conference is 20, which makes it 40.
So if they miss one of the 2 conferences a year, they don't have their certifications
Well,
for that year? Or is it?
I don't want to say that the Department of Revenue is a stickler for asserting that, but it's important for them to go because a lot of things occur at these conferences.
Absolutely.
As far as legislative.
Network is the best thing, I get it.
Legislative issues that come up, laws that change that we have to implement and that they need to know. So it's a very important informational situation though, but they do get 20 credits from the Department of Revenue for attendance.
And I'm 1,000% on board with you. There's a conference that I used to go through with the school board in my day job, and I always felt like, you know, this is not relative to what I do every day, but there's a portion of it that's required that is a DOE update for legal updates from DOE. So that is a 2-hour class for a 3-day conference that it used to frustrate me to have to go to it. But I can tell you, I've made more connections with other districts and with other assistant superintendents. So that's invaluable, the relationship the learning you get from other people that have been there and done that, or the relationship between, we're going through this issue in our county. Wow, we're about to go through that. How are y'all going to handle it? Those conversations are invaluable. But I just ask it because I didn't want there not be another opportunity between December 31st calendar year and not being able to go to this one, and it's a bigger problem than what it is just by not going, but not getting a ping for a certification or something like that.
Not this type of informational conference.
Right.
With the information that's given doesn't occur. It only occurs twice a year
Okay.
for the board. It may caveat happens. GAO conference.
Commissioner, the way the state law reads, it says, in addition to the training required in paragraph 4, which is like an introductory training thing, they're not eligible to serve if they do not successfully complete an additional 40 hours of approved appraisal courses as provided in subsection B of this code section during each 2 calendar years of tenure as a member of the Board of Tax Assessors. So the 40 has to come within a 2-year window.
And because my CEUs for engineering CEUs are every 3 years, 60 hours every 3 years, which equals 20 hours a year. But I can get 40 in 1 year and not go another year. But and again, Tony, I'm 1,000% with you on, y'all need to go to these trainings. They are important. We support that 1,000%. So I don't want anybody to think we're saying, oh, you don't need to go to the training. I was just looking at it more of, if we approve it today and there's no hotel rooms and there's no way to get into it and we've missed the conference based on what happened over the last 2 weeks, is there a bigger issue we need to deal with, as in writing letters to somebody to say, don't pull a certification because we missed a conference type thing? Or can we get 20 credits in September, October, November, or something like that? That was the only reason for the question, just how not important, but how critical was it, or how how much you had to have it.
I'll chime in. I agree. Training, everybody, it's a must. Being able to sit there with your peers that's been there, done that, you learn more from their mistakes. When we go to conferences, they'll tell us, whatever y'all do this. That's valuable because they've been there, done that, and they've learned from their mistakes, and they've shared those with us. So training is a must. I just look at your past expenditures. You had 14,460, 22. Obviously, 21 and 20 was a wash with COVID. Then we go back to the 10, roughly 10,000 and 29, 11,000 and 18. You've dealt with, just like it's been said, and I can echo it, you've dealt with budgets enough, you know what you're supposed to keep up with. And to make sure we don't have this, because we're at we got to make this happen. It's got to happen. How many days is the conference? Sunday through Thursday. Okay. So we've got how many nights of hotels booked?
It was a 16th through the 20th.
So it's the extra night. No?
That's what-
No, 6 p.m. is the final dinner and entertainment on Wednesday.
Okay.
Check out Thursday
Now,
morning.
if he has on his sheet, arrival 7:16, departure 7:20.
Yeah.
That's Sunday to Thursday.
Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, Thursday's travel home.
So that's 4 nights.
So 4 nights, Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night.
Yeah, that's 4 nights.
All right. So after the dinner, Wednesday, y'all coming back Thursday.
Thursday morning, yeah.
Because it's actually their 75th conference. That's why they're doing a late Wednesday night dinner. And I have Googled and searched room-wise. There's nowhere that's got 5 rooms together. Hampton Inn's got 3, Courtyard, Jekyll's got 3, and Holiday Inn's got 2. So, no, all of you wouldn't be together if we approve.
I think it's happened before at certain conferences where people are split up, so it's not a deal breaker. Would it be a deal breaker to split up?
We get split up all the time.
Right,
Sure.
right, it happens.
I do like to comment.
Chairman always gets a balcony.
I'm sorry? Well, it just happened that way one time. It
I mean,
was
you
by
get 2
accident, I
single
don't mind
beds.
telling you, but I do like to comment, Commissioner Bond said, biggest thing we gotta do, we've got constituents looking at us, and we need to, Motel 6, not Motel 6, Holiday Inn Express, Hampton, that's the
where I
deals we look
stay.
for. We don't try to.
Chairman, I was going to comment on that later, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but I don't think it's something we need to fix with this situation, no more than I think we need to bring in how much money he brings into the
Sure.
county, that it's not a tit for tat, it's not, this situation is this situation.
Yeah.
But I agree 1,000%. I think as a commission during this budget year, we need to look at what is our, because per diem and mileage are dictated by state rates. But what we allow as far as hotel rooms, because I'm with you, every conference that I go to, if I'm booking it on my own, whether it's my money or somebody else's money, I'm looking at the best bang for my buck. I never stay at Westin, I never stay at King of Prince and all that kind of stuff when I go to conferences, because I don't feel like the taxpayers would support if I was able to stay across the street at a cheaper hotel. I get it. There's a lot of people that stay at the Westin because of convenience, because of access to the hotel and all that. So there's a lot of perks to Westin, and I get it. A lot of people stay. It books up first before any other hotel. So it's not a dig at anybody that stays at Westin. I just think we're using taxpayers' money. We as a board should set that example and should require that in our departments. Maybe that's something we hadn't done a very good job in the past, is looking at, because we trust and expect our department heads to manage their departments the way they're supposed to. I get that, but it's something we haven't looked at. Maybe we need to look at it during budget hearings and say, are certain departments going here and certain departments going here? Maybe we need to have some kind of consistency across the board on, maybe we cap the hotel rooms unless there's a region that we can't get them. I don't know. It's just a thought, but.
I agree with you 100%. That's basically what I was getting at. We've got to look at what we're spending, and it ain't ours. But we got something to fix right. We've got something we've got to fix right now, and we need to fix it now so that we can move forward. So, Ms. Gutfield, anything you want to say? What's needed to fix this?
And if y'all are inclined to move the money, you could move it from like the contingency line item, I guess.
So how much money is that going to be?
It would be the 7345.
That would be the rooms at the Westin, or would that be getting a more,
There aren't
Right.
any rooms at Weston.
right, I knew he had some reserved at one time, but he canceled them, so I guess they're gone
Yeah,
now.
because those was over $500 per
Right,
night.
right, that's
And
much
they
too
had to be canceled
expensive.
by July 13th.
But like in Wendy's credit of saying there are some rooms available at a lower rate in the area, if we could attach those, do we know the prices of them? To readjust the price of how much money we need to move.
Well, for the minimum, to make sure we got it
Right.
covered, I think
We can
we need to go ahead and have a motion to cover
Exactly.
that. Go ahead.
The conference had to be canceled by July, what was it, July the 1st? And as a, I guess you want to say, I don't know if you want to consider it as a courtesy, because it was over the holidays. It says no refunds after July the 2nd. You know, we were off on the 3rd and the 4th of the holiday. So, reached out to, the conference vice president, and they're willing to give back. They're not at this point, saying that they will give all of the conference money back, but the majority of it. And she left a voicemail message this morning, and I sent it over to Jason this morning.
So we still got the conference paid for, is that correct?
No, because we canceled it. We had to send documentation to cancel the conference because you were not going to get anything back if it had been after that July. And because it was during a holiday weekend, they gave it consideration. So they would look at
Have we got that money back yet?
Oh.
that. No, it won't come back until the young lady left a message today and said until the conference is over. And I sent the message over to her.
So if we approve this and called them this afternoon, could,
I'm not for sure. I can reach out to her.
The payment is still.
so, Levita, if you get any paperwork, can you, maybe you can help me out here. I'm looking at 2022 total activity, so that was as of August 31st last year, 22. So the 23 is what we got a projected variance on here. Okay. So just looking through it, looks like we were at, I'm just going back the last 3 or 4 years, it looked like we were staying around the 10,000, 11,000, 10,000, except for 20 and 21, obviously, in the
Because he had
travel.
monies to move around.
Right. And then last year it was 14, so we were over the budgeted 10, and he's right, it was 14,460, so $4,460 moved from other accounts into it. But this year,
He had all the negative, everything was in the negative, so he didn't have enough positives to cover the negatives.
right. So it was still the original 10,000 budgeted, and I'm just talking about travel, 10,000 budgeted, so we're still looking at adding, so at the end of the day, that's going to be 10 plus 60, 6208, so we're still going to be at 16,000 some odd total just for travel, not training, just the travel budget. So that's an increase over last year, which was, and Tony said this, things are going up, and I get it, prices
I
are
get
going
that too.
up.
It's going up.
No doubt.
And the per diem comes out to travel.
It's an extra training.
Okay. All right, well, I think personal opinion, we make a decision today over whether we move this from another one, see if it can get back into the conference, and then we got budget hearings coming up. We really look at, maybe we ask the department heads, what do you have to go to? I don't know do we turn in projected travel with the budget here?
We've had years where we've done it, and we've had years where we hadn't.
Because I know I have to send an annual calendar to the superintendent's office to say, here's the conference I'm going to, and this was the estimated budget last year. I just usually put 10 to 20% on it so that I don't run into, it was more than it was last year. And I give them an estimated budget, and then if I come in under that, I'm better.
One thing I picked up on is Tony told us that he has individuals retire, and there was some additional training to get people up to speed to kind of pick up the slack.
But in all fairness, the person that retired shouldn't have gone to training unless there was a situation where I'm retiring so if that person didn't go to training, that money was still in there for the new person to go to training. So it's not like we needed two sets of training money for.
Right, but they had to double up. Say if a lower person was not trained and they had to double up on training to get up to speed to the higher levels, that could be doubled up
Yeah.
training.
Sometimes people have to go to more than one training in the calendar year to get a certain skill set. It's not just one class.
That's kind of what I was getting
40
at.
hours, sometimes they have to go to 2 because there's a schedule by the Department of Revenue that staff has to take to get to certain levels.
Right.
And they have to wait for certain classes to become available.
Right.
And sometimes, especially this year, it's unusual, you got staff that had to get other skill sets because of retirements. So they had to go to this training to obtain those skill sets.
Yeah, and I can understand that in a one-off,
Right, it's got a
new
one-off year.
employee.
Right, one-off year, right there.
Because I mean, I have to do that, and most of the, there's every now and then, there's some that fall in after our budget cycle that kind of throws you off a little bit. For the most part, most of these conferences, you know, you got a year out to know what's available for training, so that all has to be taken into account in the budget cycle.
Comes down to scheduling, predictions of what you need, when to get it.
We need a motion to go forward so we can see if we can resume this conference.
I don't have a problem moving the money, Chairman. I fully support the training that's required and needed by the department, because that's what serves us best and the community best. No doubt at all, I support the training and all that, so I don't have a problem with moving the money. But I do want the record to show that we as in the commission needs to do a better job of managing the budget process when it comes to travel and training. And the departments need to make sure that they're looking at their budgets every month and keeping up with their training and travel, and that we aren't here because of something that Jason and Levita done. That was against policy. Because that was, and I appreciate you saying that you didn't say that didn't come from you. That makes me feel a lot better, because it definitely came to us that way. And the phone calls between us and our department heads was, what are we doing? And they assured us we didn't do anything that the policy didn't require us to do. And so it puts us all in a bad spot. We're one family, we're one team. We all have to, if any one of us falters, the citizens suffer for it, and we'll all catch the devil for it. So we're all on the same page. With that, Chairman, Jason, your recommendation is general fund contingency? All right. I'll make a motion that we move, is 7345 not to, will that cover the reduction in rooms?
It's anywhere from 303 to, Hampton Inn may actually have 5 rooms, and the highest rate with the GAAO discount on it is 356. So that total would be right at $7,000 for 5 rooms there, if they've got the 5 rooms there.
7,000, but you said 2437 per diem, all travel and all that stuff. So if we did 9,500, worst case scenario, we'd be covered.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's your motion?
Yeah.
Second.
Second?
Motion to move $9,500 from general contingency to travel line item in the tax assessors.
We got a second?
Second.
All right, any more discussion?
I have a discussion. Who's supposed to make these reservations?
Well, I can give them the phone right now.
Okay.
Do it.
I'll come and help you right quick,
Okay, all right.
since I've got the
Oh, we
information.
got
pulled
that,
up.
got that solved. Anything else?
I will say this. I don't want to have to be back here again next year doing this, because.
You didn't want to be here this year, did you?
Because this
Did it
could have
we?
been avoided in so many different ways. I hope that those that you are taking with you understand that it could have been avoided also, that it's fingers have been pointed in all the wrong directions, and I hope that you can explain that to them, because as over your own budget, you know where your money is. Because I know where my money is in my budget, in my real job. So, I just hope that they understand that wasn't us, but we took care of it.
Training is very important.
Very important.
All in favor?
And I hope
aye?
y'all can get the conference scheduled, the room scheduled, and I hope everybody's still able to go. You know, last minute people get changes if they don't
Here
think.
they are.
All in favor?
I know if you tell me today I don't have nothing next week, I've already got other plans by tomorrow.
I guess that was
Right
eight.
now, they're sitting right here.
Call for a vote.
I cannot go. I made obligations for my mother, and at this last minute,
Take care of mama, I
I
promise.
got to go home.
Right.
I will say there is some training that I want to go to in Athens in November. And I may be the only one, it's a 40-hour week class on conservation that I want to go to.
Sure.
I will put that on the record, that I do want to go to that class.
And while we're on discussion, we appreciate each and every one of y'all for, for y'all's time doing this, because we need help. This board can't do it by themselves.
And y'all get paid the big bucks just like we do.
All in favor, aye?
Exactly.
I did on that one. Thank you.
We know y'all do it from the heart, not for the paycheck, that's for sure.
And I'll come down there with you right quick.
Very good.
Yeah, we voted. We voted.
Get reimbursed.
All in favor, aye, yeah. Oh, did we,
Per-
we
per diem.
I
discussed?
paid
Sorry.
$200 for my husband to go, and I expect my $200 back.
But it was.
I paid $50, and no, I paid $50 for us to do bingo. So I paid, I wrote a check for $200 out of my pocket to cover my
But
spouse.
it was not through us. We had nothing to do
I'm
with
just
it.
stating,
We did not have anything.
Yeah.
It was
All right,
not-
we gotta
that check
vote
did not come
yes,
from
and-
us.
And we ain't got to vote yet.
Already voted.
We've already second, now we gotta,
Yeah, we
We
already
did vote
voted.
yes.
that was aye, all of us together.
Everybody was aye.
We only paid the $400 per board member.
All right.
I'm assuming the check cash will be on the
I got a motion to adjourn, I got a second. A real quiet motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second, you were low, and all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank y'all for coming too.